Hello everyone, Minglapa. Welcome back to our weekly news of MMTV. This week we are back again to present Myanmar's domestic situation, starting off with the situation of interest between international countries and the difficulty that are currently facing Myanmar. As per this week, the recast after the storm Mocha and the most updated news are on the way. My name is Nui Umang and let's get it started. From today's weekly news sessions, we have the ambassador said that the military council is using a Pyat system to prevent those who need help from getting help. The energy minister and the Project CURE team met to discuss the delivery of medicines and medical supplies to Myanmar. The UN Special Representative will continue to support the emergence of a federal state by NUG. In addition to threats, HRW warned of imprisonment, oppressing the lawyers of political prisoners. More than 100 Thai women are being forced into prostitution in Shan State. The Army of the Military Council banned the village of Badoo 5 times and about 10,000 residents did not dare to return home. Due to warnings of strong winds, sea trips in southern Rakhine have been suspended for a week. The farmers of Pearl district are having a hard time replanting their farms after the storm. In 2 years, KNDF announced that it had captured 10 frontline camps and 10 checkpoints. For the first news we have, the ambassador said that the military council is using a Pyat system to prevent those who need help from getting help. Ambassador Ujom Montun said that the countries over the world are working to provide humanitarian aid to the people affected by Cyclone Mocha in Myanmar, but the military council is using a Pyat approach to prevent aid from reaching the people living in the affected areas and conflict areas. Ambassador Ujom Montun, permanent representative of Myanmar to the United Nations, spoke at the plenary meeting on disaster reduction held at the United Nations headquarters in New York on June 6. He said that more than 450 people, including the Rohingya, were killed in Myanmar due to Cyclone Mocha. Homes, schools, roads, bridges, and agriculture were destroyed as well, and they were facing difficulties such as food, medicine, and temporary shelter. Thanking the United Nations and the ASEAN Humanitarian Aid Department for their efforts to help those in need in Myanmar, the ambassador said that it is important that this aid reaches those who really need it. He also said that the military council is working to prevent aid from reaching those in need of humanitarian aid, so the United Nations, ASEAN, and the international community should work equally to provide aid to those in need. In addition, he urged them to cooperate with the National Unity Government Relief and Emergency Management Coordinating Committee, which is connecting with those in need of assistance. Next, we have the energy minister and the Project CURE team met to discuss the delivery of medicines and medical supplies to Myanmar. It is reported that Dr. Zoe So, Minister of Health and Education of NUG, had a meeting with Project CURE. They held a meeting with the leaders of the group on June 5th at the international headquarters of Project CURE in Denver, state of Colorado, United States of America. During the meeting, the NUG Minister Dr. Zoe So and Project CURE said that the officials discussed and negotiated the process of sending and donating medicines and medical supplies to Myanmar. Reportedly, President and CEO of Project CURE, Dr. Doug Jackson, said it is known that Project CURE is a prominent organization that distributes medicines and medical supplies to patients in regions with limited resources in more than 135 countries. Organizations on the ground have said that there is a high need for food and shelter as well as medicines and medical supplies because the military council is applying the principle of cutting in areas where the fighting between the coup military council and the revolutionary forces is intense. Moving on to the next one, we have the UN Special Representative will continue to support the emergence of a federal state by NUG. On June the 3rd, the UN Special Representative for Myanmar, Dr. Nolan Hayes, said yesterday that he supports the efforts of the National Unity Government NUG to promote the emergence of a federal democratic union and to enable everyone to participate in nation building. The UN Special Representative, who is about to resign next week, will meet with NUG Foreign Minister Dr. Zima Ao in Switzerland. BBC Myanmar reports that they said this when they met in Geneva yesterday, June the 3rd. Since she started working as a special envoy in 2021 December, she has not been in regular contact with the NUG leadership. Before his trip to Naypyidaw in August, she reiterated that she held consultations with the NUG during her meetings with the NUG Foreign Affairs Minister. Foreign Affairs Minister Daw Zimma Aung said that the Myanmar issue is not a matter that can be handled by one person, but she is grateful for the special effort that have been made by listening to the voice of the Myanmar people and starting with a new approach. At the same time, both the Special Envoy and the Minister of Foreign Affairs said that the international community needs joint support regarding the Myanmar issue. The Office of the Special Envoy has announced that the Foreign Minister has the same opinion. Dr. Noeleen Heyzer will be stepping down on June 12 after 20 months as the UN Secretary-General Special Representative for Myanmar. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said that he will appoint a new special representative to replace the vacant special representative, thanking the people of Myanmar and his effort for the peace of Myanmar. In the next news, we have, in addition to threats, HRW warn of imprisonment, oppressing the lawyers of political prisoners. Burmese lawyers who provide legal services for political prisoners are oppressed by the military army. The International Human Rights Watch (HRW) has warned that they are being subjected to arbitrary arrests. According to HRW, many lawyers are no longer able to handle such politically related cases due to the unethical pressure and torture of the military regimes. Since the military overthrew the democratic government led by Daw Aung San Suu Kyi at gunpoint more than 2 years ago, a bloody crackdown has been carried out on opposition forces and thousands of political prisoners have been arrested. According to the records of the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners, AAPP, in more than 2 years, the military council arrested more than 23,000 people and only released more than 4,300 people. About 19,000 of those arrested after the coup are still in prison. At the same time, the lawyers who defended the political prisoners in the special tribunals set up to try them were also oppressed. HRW also reported after meeting with 19 lawyers that they are being threatened. HRW report that a Yangon-based lawyer said he was stressed at the trial because he was worried that he would end up in prison if he had to advocate for the truth. HRW has also pointed out that incident where Daw Young Nu Ao, who provided legal representation for members of Daw Aung San Suu Kyi's party, was unjustly arrested in a courtroom and imprisoned by the military council. For the next one, we have more than 100 Thai women are being forced to prostitution in Shan State. A Thai social relief group said that in Myanmar Shan State, 140 Thai women have been lured into prostitution and are being forced to work as prostitutes. The Wiener Hongsakul Foundation, a women's and children's welfare organization, said that some women who were victims of human trafficking were forced to use drugs to become artistic. They also added that some Thai nationals working in Shan State contacted the foundation to report the matter to the authorities and to help the women. When the women were lured to Shan State, they were exposed to shocking and disgusting situations where the wages and jobs that were offered were vastly different in reality. About 140 women, including those who were forced into prostitution, are in need of urgent assistance, said the director of the Consular Affairs Department. At the same time, it is reported that the Thai authorities are working with Myanmar to try to arrange the woman's return home. He said that in the long run, the two sides will conduct negotiations to prevent similar issues from reappearing again. Recently, a 44-year-old Thai man named Wan Chai has complained to the Thai authority that his wife was forced into prostitution with the incentive of getting a good job abroad. Moving on to the next news we've got. The Army of the Military Council burned the village of Badoo 5 times and about 10,000 residents did not dare to return home. The military council troops are burning in Sagai Division civilian-owned homes in Badoo village, north of Sagai City this morning, and about 10,000 residents of the nearby villages are still fleeing because they have not dared to return home. The village of Badoo was burned yesterday and this morning, so it's been burned 5 times. Some villages have been burned after entering the convoy, while in Badoo they are being burned through the police station there. They are burning 4 or 5 times a day, and the houses around the camp are being burnt a little, said a local. At the moment, the military council column is still in the village, so it's not known many houses have been burnt, but how many residents have escaped. Starting on the 4th of this month, more than 100 military council forces arrived in Sagai City in 2 columns through Woodlet Township. It is reported that 3 villages, including Badoo, Singai, and Daling, have been burned down. Because the military council troops are conducting raids and burning, about 10 Thousands of residents of these villages are avoiding the war, including nearby forests and other villages. They started entering from Dangyin village in the north of Badoo. Now the column is going around there. There are cars on the house poles and they run away with them. They go to the jungles built to guard them while planting yams in the forest. Without them, they have to go to other villages, said a local. On the 4th of this month, the military council column and the revolutionary forces clashed in Singai village, and 13 members of the military council were killed, and Comrade 99, Deputy Commander, and Comrade Dadin of the 3rd Battalion of Sakai district were killed, according to a soldier of the 3rd Battalion. It is also reported that after the military council column deployed the police station in the Badoo district on May 19, the revolutionary forces were able to attack the police station on May 22nd. According to an independent research group, data for Myanmar released in March this year, 60,459 civilians' homes were burned down in the country in more than 2 years after the military took over. Among them, there are more than 47,000 in Sakai. In other news, we have: due to warnings of strong wind, sea trips in southern Rakhine have been suspended for a week. Due to the low pressure in the Bay of Bengal near the Rakhine coast, high-speed boat trips to the southern township in Rakhine State have been temporarily suspended. It is reported that flights from situated cities such as Dango, Yamye, Jiaopyu, Myanmar have been suspended for a week starting from June the 8th. The wind blowing earlier was not normal, so was the sea. The flights were cancelled because they were possibly a danger. There is also a low pressure area as well, and even if this one clears up, the monsoon will come in with good force, so it is predicted for about a week, the local resident said. Trips in the river, such as Sidway Badoo, Sidway Myanmar, Sidway Yatidang, Sidway Budidang, will be operated as usual. Local tourists say that this is because of the suspension of sea tours to the southern Rakhine State. It may become difficult to travel. There are also a lot of people traveling by sea because it saves time, but by road it takes a lot of time. With this closure, it is difficult to come and go, but it is safer this way. Previously, government ships ran, but now we have to rely on shipping, said a resident of Sidway. The low-pressure area near Rakhine Coast had strong low pressure. The meteorologist Uwinai predicts that it will continue to strengthen as a tropical cyclone and may cross over from near Sidway on June the 9th. Winds are expected to reach 59 miles per hour during the storm passage and may weaken after 12 p.m. tomorrow. In Rakhine State, during the National League for Democracy NLD government, 3 passenger ships donated by Japan ran from Sidway to southern cities of Rakhine State. Moving on to the next news, we have the farmers of Pearl districts are having a hard time replanting their funds after the storm. The local farmers said that they are having a hard time replanting the funds in Sakai region they were damaged by Typhoon Mocha because they have not yet received support. Although it has been a month almost since Typhoon Mocha hit, the farmers in that area have not received any help from the military council or the NUG until now. Due to the speed of the storm, there were floods in the areas of Pearl Township in Sakai region. Farmers said that in addition to the flood due to the impact of the North Yamat Dam, the farms were flooded and some of the dams supplying the irrigation water were also damaged, making it difficult for them to replant. According to information from Pearl Township Public Administration, due to the cyclone Mocha, 34 villages in Pearl Township were flooded, and rice, sesame, thousands of baskets of rice, and around 50,000 pounds of onions. And about 2,700 acres of agricultural land planted with other household items and crops were damaged as well. Locals say that the damaged irrigation canals are not repaired in time. It will be difficult for them to plant rain-fed rice. NUG has provided 20 million juts of funds for the response to the storm, and the damaged roads are being repaired with that money, said Goso Chet, who's in charge of Pearl Township Public Administration. He has also said that he has learned from experts that the irrigation systems that need to be repaired in order for farms to get water for cultivation can cost tens of thousands of jets, and it's not possible to fix them at the moment. Farmers believe that if the damaged irrigation canals are not repaired before the next rainy rice plantation season, they may lose hundreds of thousands of acres of rice and face additional difficulties. Last but not least, we have: in 2 years, the KNDF announced that it had captured 10 frontline camps and some checkpoints. The Karenni National Defense Force, KNDF, announced that the Karenni National Defense Force, KNDF, has captured 10 of the military council forward posts and some checkpoints in 2 years of intense fighting between the military council forces and Karenni coalition forces in Karenni State and Southern Jan State. In 2021, a few months after the military coup, it is said that the KNDF force, which was formed on May 31st, was able to capture these camps after more than 1,000 battles with the military council over a 2-year period. The most number of fights occurred in the Mosul Township with 340 fights, followed by 162 fights in Luaigo Township, and 133 times in Fraser Township, 170 times in Pelko Township, 49 times in Binlong Township, 67 times in Bogli Township, 22 times in Shador Township, twice in Pasong Township, and 4 times in Mese Township. In the administration of the Karenni Internal Military Council, there is only one Luaigo town left. KNDF said that only the Army of the Military Council and their family members remain in the townships of Bolakare, the Mosul, and Fruso. With the Army of the Military Council remain in the rest of the township, they were under the administrations of the respective ethnic forces. In the fighting between the KNDF and the coup army, 2,065 members of the military council were killed, 41 members of the military council were captured, and more than 600 weapons and ammunition, including some heavy weapons, were seized. The Karenni National Defense Force KNDF announced that 153 people were killed, but the number of injured people was not mentioned in the statement. To conclude, everyone, this is the recap of the news we've gathered during the week. And every day, the people in Myanmar are still trying to achieve democracy and human rights in many various ways. Therefore, as people all over the world, as well as each country in the world who's looking at this news, we would like to urge and request everyone to help restore democracy and basic human rights in relation to the current Myanmar issue. Thank you all very much. See you all on the next week episode of MMTV Weekly News. This is Nue Umao. Jesu Tumare.